Welcome, Lee here from Play Guitar Academy. Today is about basic blues rhythm guitar. I will play over a simple E7 chord and show you 5 rhythm figures that you can use to play most standards. These will get you up and running, and they're easy enough that you can use them over all of the chords in a blues progression. But before we get started, if you struggle with getting your chords to sound clean and clear, download my free guide to clear sounding chords. This way you can perform all these blues rhythms with ease. Let's go ahead and get started. Here with the rhythm pattern number 1, we're going to be doing a straight boogie pattern. So let's put our first finger on the A string at the 2nd fret, and we're going to play that along with the open E string. Should sound familiar to you. This is the basis of a power chord. Sound great with distortion. They just sound great all the time. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be bouncing back and forth between the 2nd fret and the 4th fret on the A string. But each time we play, the open E string goes along with it. So we have 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2. Most of you may have known this one already. It's one of the most important things to learn when you're learning blues guitar, but when you play it is the most important thing. Remember, I said this was a straight pattern. This means on 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're right on the beat. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. You can play along with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you take a look here in the 2nd measure, on beat 3, we're going to move up from the 6th to the flat 7. This is a D note, and we're playing over an E7 chord. So this is the dominant 7th. This is the bluesy note here. And so we're playing 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, and 4th fret. We're substituting going back to the 2nd fret for the 5th fret. It adds a little interest. It still outlines the chord that's being played, and it's pretty neat. You can kind of improvise with that. You can put it in and out as you choose. So here in number 2, this is something very similar to number 1, but when I play this is important. So take a listen. This is a shuffle. These are 8th notes, just like before, 1 and 2 and, but the 2nd 8th note is pushed forward. It's almost kind of lazy sounding. And if you take a look here above this measure, we have a rhythm feel in parentheses. It says straight 8th notes, written straight, equal a quarter note going to an 8th note as triplets. So instead of it playing 1 and 2 in, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's as if we're playing the first note and the last note of a triplet. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. Where before our straight boogie pattern was. And you'll hear this in songs like High Heel Sneaker. You'll hear it in a lot of Albert Collins songs, blues played over a straight beat. But now we have this shuffle. And it should sound very familiar to you. Play along with me. I'm just playing this chord. Bop, 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 bop. If you take a look at measure number 2 here, remember in the last one we went up to the 5th fret to add a little interest. I did something that's very common here. I went down to the 3rd fret and the 4th fret of the low string on beat 2. It gives a really nice bass line. Boom, 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 boom. A very common blues sounding bass line. We're throwing that in the middle of our boogie pattern. In rhythm figure number 3, we're going to do another boogie pattern, but this time with embellishments. We're going to add a little something there. And if you take a look here, we're going to be adding it to beat 4 of each measure. So we're going to play our regular boogie pattern. We're going to add some double stops to that. We're going to be playing at the 2nd fret on the D string and then the 2nd fret on the G string. Bar both of those with your first finger and then lift it off so that you have the D and the G string open. 4, and. So that's on the beat 4. All together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beat 4 is a great place to add in things to this, to add interest, because it's right before the strongest point, which is beat 1, where you have to be there on time. But let's take a look at this second measure on rhythm pattern number 3. And what I'm doing is I'm outlining this E7 chord here. I'm playing 2s across. It's like playing an A chord on the D, G, and the B string. But if you take a look at these 16th notes, we have open to 1st fret. So we're playing, it's a little Johnny B. Good sound. Minor 3rd to major 3rd. And then we're going to end with, on the next measure, both open strings on the E and B string, like the top of an E7 chord. You can add these in and take them away. You can basically improvise with these different boogie patterns that we've learned here and some of the embellishments that we've put in them too. If you take a look at this week's podcast, a regular audio podcast, I'm going to be talking about mixing rhythms, especially blues rhythms here. What happens if you don't want to play a boogie pattern? If you just want to play the straight chords, but you want to play them in a way it doesn't sound like you're just playing quarter notes all the time. How do you do something that fits in with a shuffle? Well, here's an open position chord shuffle. I'm going to make an E7 here. So I'm going to put my pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string. I'll put my first finger on the 1st fret of the G, and then my second finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. And I'm also going to play the open E string along with this. Now you can strum and mute the strings that you don't want to hear. Or you can do a hybrid approach where you use your pick on the low string and then your fingers on the ones that you press down. What's interesting about this is when these are being played. If you see on the first beat, this is a dotted quarter note. What that means, it takes all of beat 1 and half of beat 2. So 1, 2, and would be the next time we play. And on that, we're playing the same chord and letting it ring all the way to the end of the measure until right before we end. There's one little eighth note there that's setting up the next measure. So if we were going to play that sound of dotted quarter note to eighth note, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and. So if I continue on and I hit that little open E at the end of the measure, this fits in perfectly with the shuffle pattern. And you can use this rhythmic idea for the other chords in the blues as well too. Our last rhythm number 5, this is an offbeat shuffle. And what this is, off beats, we're playing on the and of each beat. So if you have 4 beats in a measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you count eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're going to be playing a lot of the ands on the up. So down, up, to up, right? We're going to be playing on off beats. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, what we're going to play is the open E on 1, but then on the and of 1, we're going to put our first finger on the 1st fret of the G string and play all of those notes, open E, open B, and 1st fret on the G, and we're going to do that with an upstroke each time. So play along with. And you can use this with all of the other chords as well too. Thanks for playing along today. Thanks to all of our Academy members over at playguitaracademy.com who are tearing into the tab and guitar profiles from this lesson right now. Don't forget, download my guide to clear sounding chords. It's going to make all of this easier for you. And as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Have a great practice. I'll see you in the next video.